Welcome back, Gambino Mafia, to another Random Rambling. I think this is episode 4, and today's topic we're going to be talking about the NBA buyout market. So recently, we've seen a lot of people get bought out, a lot of people sign in other places. We've seen Terrence Ross get bought out, Russell Westbrook get bought out, Kevin Love get bought out, Patrick Beverly. Who else do we got on this list? Stanley Johnson, Will Barton, Danny Green, Justin Holiday, Dwayne Dedman, R.J. Hampton, and that's the list. So I want to start with the most recent one, which is Russell Westbrook signing with the Los Angeles Clippers. There's a huge narrative that this is Westbrook's last chance, which is disrespectful to his legacy, because if you know basketball, you would have known once he ended up on the Lakers that you knew that wasn't going to work, because there's no spacing. He's not a elite three-point shooter like your D'Angelo Russell or your Kyrie Irving. He's more of a mid-range, get to the basket, dunk on people, lay up, and facilitate kind of guy, and that's what he's always been. So for them to put this thought process that once he gets to the Lakers, he's just going to start shooting the lights out for some reason is astronomical and very disrespectful. And they need to be punished for that, because that was an absolute fucking hit to his legacy. But I digress. So he ends up getting traded to the Jazz, which we're all aware of. And then there were rumors and talkings that they were going to honor him and give him in it, but they were still focusing on progressing their young guys. Well, he got bought out, and there was talks maybe Miami, back to Washington, the Bulls, this team, that team, and the other. But at the end of the day, it ended up being the Los Angeles Clippers. So he's back in Los Angeles, right next door to the Lakers, which is cool because they've needed a ball-dominant point guard. They've had a couple guys run that position that didn't really work out. And now they got a guy that I feel like will fit. There's still there's better spacing with this team than their other team, because they have actual shooters on this team, and Kawhi and Paul George are both known to get out behind the line and can take shots and make shots. So that's good for him. Patrick Beverly ended up in Orlando in that Obama for Patrick Beverly trade, and then he gets bought out and he's going home to Chicago. Don't really have much to say about this one, because Patrick Beverly is just one of those guys that's going to be around the league and be on this team and that team, and he'll be around for a while and play for a bunch of different teams throughout his career, which he already has. But the thought process behind it is they shut down Lonzo because he's still not showing any signs of improvement. He's having troubles with walking upstairs and pain in his knee, which sucks because nobody wants to see somebody suffer with something like that. I deal with knee pain myself from a meniscus tear, but no one wants to see someone go through something like that. And now they shut him down, and then now they need a point guard, even though they already had a plethora of guards at the helm. They have one more guy coming home, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those whatever kind of deals. They're not going to make the playoffs, so if they do, they're going to be a play-in team, and I don't see that going too far. Next guy on the list is Kevin Love. If you've been around the channel for a little while, you know I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. I've been a Cavs fan since LeBron era, the first one, and every time in between. I love Kevin Love. Even before he was a Cav, when he was a Timberwolf, giving you 20 and 10, 20 and 20 games, just an absolute animal while he was in Minnesota. And then he comes to Cleveland, and he becomes a catch-and-shoot guy, and he's doing great things. We get him a ring. LeBron leaves, Kyrie leaves, and he still stays around. And there's some turmoil there when we started bringing a lot of younger guys, and he thought he deserved more touches, which he did. He was the veteran of the team and definitely the best player on the team. But we're in the push for a young team. We got, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Emo in the fro. Kevin Love's quite older than those guys, so I can understand the process behind the buyout. Do I hate to see him go? Yes. Do I love to see that they retired his jersey? Yeah. Some people probably don't think what's the reasoning behind it. He didn't do anything specific for the franchise, but when someone's there for such a long time and you feel as if they are part of the history of the franchise, then yeah, it's the right thing to do is to go and retire their number. And then he goes to Miami, which I think is a 5-star pickup because, they've been struggling for bodies the whole year and they needed a 4, and we thought it was going to be Jay Crowder, and we thought they were going to make trades at the trade deadline, which they didn't end up doing. And now they get a legitimate 4 who can stretch the floor, shoot, facilitate, play a little bit of defense because we saw how he was playing on Curry in that finals run. So it's a good pickup, and I really like it. I wouldn't rather see him on any other team than team's got one of my favorite players in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. So seeing him there is legit. It's great. I'm happy for him and for the Miami Heat organization as a whole. R.J. Hampton. Let me search the room. Does anybody care about the R.J. Hampton news? No, I didn't think so. But he's going to the Pistons. Reggie Jackson is a Nugget. This time, last playoff run, he signed with the Clippers around that time, and he came to the podium and he was very emotional about how they saved his career because he knew he was almost out of the league because of things that have happened in his career. And then he got revived and he played his ass off in that last year's playoff, and for him to get bought out. And then they bring in a bunch of other guards and Bones Highland, and we talked about Eric Gordon going there. It's very curious, very curious. But Denver, they got them another guard. They traded Bones Highland to the Clippers and then get their guy back. Not really sure why they didn't just do a swap in the first place. From what I'm reading, he was on the Hornets beforehand. I don't remember that happening, but I digress. He's not going to get a lot of playtime there in the playoffs with the Nuggets because Jamal Murray is going to be playing a lot of time, and Jokic can control the ball. They got a lot of ball controlling guys over there, so he'll probably not see the floor much once the playoffs gets deep. If they go on a deep run, which I expect them to, since all their guys are healthy and Jokic is looking like a 3-time back-to-back MVP. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't make a pretty decent playoff run. Dwayne Dedmon. Anybody care about Dwayne Dedmon to Philly? Nobody? Oh yeah, we're just gonna skip that one too then. Terrence Ross, huge Terrence Ross fan. From the beginning of his career to the career he had in Orlando. Just think he's an absolute bucket. He could put you on a poster. He's a great streamer. If you've ever seen his stream, he's pretty hilarious. So that Orlando team is just like this Cleveland team. They're pushing forward to the younger guys they have on the team, and Terrence Ross not being that much older, but not fitting inside the window that they currently have. We've been expecting him to be bought out, traded from Orlando for quite a few years now, and then it finally happens. And there was rumors Dallas or the Nuggets, this team, that team, and the other, and then he ends up going to Phoenix, which is a win for him and for them because, one, they needed depth, and two, they are a contending team because they have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. Need I say more? It's a good pickup for them, good pickup decision for him to sign with them. This late in his career, he's probably in his early 30s, if I'm not wrong. So this was a very smart decision for him to take the money and go there. He couldn't have made any wronger decisions going to Dallas or to Denver. Either team was a win-win-win-win for him because all of them were contending and they could all use his expertise to be that spark off the bench. Danny Green comes back to Cleveland. Well, it's kind of weird. I'm wearing a Milwaukee Bucks shirt, some Milwaukee jersey shirt, Giannis on the back. Guy's a masterclass of his own. I've talked about it on the channel. That's no here nor there. We had drafted Danny Green when he first came into the league, and he didn't make it long. He didn't last long with the team, but now he's back. We needed a defending small forward that could shoot the ball because Ice. He's been playing very well this part of the year, but when it comes down to the playoffs, what is his chances of getting a lot of play time is probably going to be very small. So I'm cool with the Danny Green signing. Justin Holiday to the Mavericks. Sure. Sure. They could use all the depth they can because they traded all their guys away. So I don't see that to be a bad pickup. Completed buyouts. We got Stanley Johnson from the Spurs. I'm not sure where to expect him to go. It'll probably be some kind of continuing team somewhere in the West, maybe the East. I don't know who really needs a forward. Probably the Mavericks if they have any extra money. Will Barton. Will Barton's a good one because a lot of teams could use him. I could see him in Dallas or Denver. I gotta stop saying so much. Josh told me to stop saying so much. But there's so many teams I could use a guard. He could literally end up anywhere in the East or the West because he's got skills. He's averaging 14.7 this year with the Wizards, and he's only 32. So some teams gonna pick Will Barton up. It's just the matter of who it's going to be. Pending buyouts. We got John Wall. That somehow, even after talking about how being on the Rockets was so trash, is right back with the Rockets again. People just don't fuck with John Wall. And it's sad because John Wall was one of my favorite players growing up when he came into the league out of Kentucky. And for him to just have this career that's been plagued by injuries, even though he started off super high and it just like the decline was just astronomical. It sucks. Honestly, I don't know where he could end up because at this point he's just going to be sitting around and waiting for someone who's going to need him. But who do I think needs him? I don't know. I don't know because if he didn't work out with the Clippers and they wanted him, then what's to make me think that any other team's going to want him? So, Serge Ibaka got traded to the Pacers from the Bucks in the trade to get Jay Crowder. Serge Ibaka's way too old for that team, so I don't expect him to be there long. He'll go to a contending team because he's obviously got the defense that he can stretch the floor, and he still plays well at the age of 33. So I could see him going to a contending team within the next few weeks once he gets bought out. So that was a pretty short video. We're just talking about what's going on currently with the buyout. We'll see what goes forward with the Russell Westbrook thing because I think it'll work out. I honestly have expectations to think that the way they play over there with a good coach like Tyronn Lue and two guys like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they can make it work. They can make Russell Westbrook fit because unlike the spacing they had in the Los Angeles with the Lakers, they have spacing with the Clippers. They have guys who can actually shoot the ball and create spacing for these mid-range, good-to-the-basket guys like Westbrook. So that'll be all for this video. As always, Gabino Mafia, I love you. Peace.